Well, hello there, my bowfishing brethren. This is Tim Daniels from THS Sporting Center, and another video clip from May 20th, 2021. A couple of things here. At the end of this video, I have a small video tutorial about tying to the back of your arrow. And it's a couple minutes long, and it just basically shows you tying the knot, shooting through something, taking the line off the arrow, pulling it back through the object or fish. In that particular circumstance, it's a box, and then back up. Right now, what you're seeing is just the 110 watt, just 110 volt, 50 watt Volgrum lights. There's 5 of them up front, which is 3 floodlights and 2 spotlights, and then on the sides there's 1 floodlight and 1 spotlight. And that's what I'm using for the first, say about 5 minutes or so into this video. Right now I clipped in my video camera settings for my GoPro Hero 3. Okay, so right here I'm getting ready to walk back to turn on now the 100 watt arrow LEDs, and there's 2 of those up front and 1 on each side. The nice thing about this system, again, is that it allows me to add more light when I need more light and then cut light back when I don't need it. For the rest of the night I'm basically running all the lights in the boat. The DC lights that I'm using, or I just turned on, are from Arrow, and they're 100 watt halos. That's a dual chip 24 volt system. I also believe it works with 12 volt as well. Really good light. So I plan on in the future using more of video speed to make these videos more interesting, basically speeding up some of those parts that were really working on a fish or something like that and fighting it, or on a great slow-mo shot. As you can see in the background here on the left, I started bringing a spear along again, and I use that on fish that I've wounded, or smaller fish. I also use it for sometimes spearing gar that are hanging around bass beds. It's a handy thing to have on board. as I've mentioned in the past, I've replaced the line on my Megamouth reel with some 250-pound 8-braid line. And keeping in mind, this reel isn't really designed to hold those kind of weights. You have to make sure you're using a line puller. But when I'm respooling it, one of the things I do is I take off the cap of the reel. So I have the line run through the guide, and then I reel it in until I see it's really buried underneath those 3 posts there. That's how you can really maximize your reel and get the most, the best performance out of the reel. Basically, it's been my observation that as long as your reel isn't overfilled, when it comes to any type of spinner, they usually perform best when they're at their max capacity. That's where the vast majority of them will shoot the best, is that when they're really have the most amount of line on them that they can hold. Well, coming up in a second, there's a big dropout in the video, and I have no idea why it's in there. And instead of re-editing things and moving all the soundtracks, I just sort of left it in there. I figured it's just a couple of seconds, and there's worse things in life to live with. But back up and running. It was really another good night for goldfish. I shot a fair amount of goldfish this night, and again, that is still one of my favorite things to shoot. There's an example again how an AMS anchor quick turn can get a fish off quickly. Having a gaff on board is good for obviously picking up fish, but also clearing weeds from a prop. And one of the things you just seen in that little video clip there is that my gaff actually goes down into a piece of PVC with a slot cut in it. Oh, here's a good example of I shoot at a gar. I hit him pretty good, but it doesn't get the arrow to stick. So I whip out that spear real quick, and I poke him with that to get him in the boat, saving a few more bass. Over the last week or so, I've been seeing a lot more panfish on the beds. And here's an example of one of the bigger bluegill beds I ran across. I try to make sure I sort of steer clear of these, trying to make sure I don't kick silt on them or anything like that. And also make it a point to shoot any of the gar that are hanging around these things, especially bass beds. They seem to cap out sometimes around bass beds and just pick off the fry. Bass are basically nothing they can do about it. They're just outnumbered. You know, another little simple trick I used is I took a heavy-duty nylon strap and attached it to the front D-ring on my boat, and this allows me to pull up my boat with the boat winch with a little bit easier, so I don't have to reach as far underneath the boat. And I use an elastic strap to help hold it up in the air, so it's again easier to reach. Well, that's about it for the bow fishing video portion of this. In the next little video segment you'll see coming up here in just a few seconds is something I shot inside the store. The audio is definitely going to be a little different, but it's of tying to the back of your arrow. Nonetheless, I hope all of you had a damn good day, or at least try like hell, and take care, my friends. Hello, this is Tim Daniels from THS Sporting Center, and in this little video clip, what I plan on doing is showing you how to take your line off and on a rear tie on your arrow. Put the camera a little bit that way. Yep, there you go. And down just a sliver. There we go. Wasn't far enough away.
Didn't drop down like you wanted?
Oh, well, I thought it'd be, I thought I would have it farther away. All right, so I didn't shoot through my fish there. I normally got them in as you normally would, so I would loosen up the tip, I'd pull the fish off, things would be good to go. That's the way it goes when things are going well. Okay, so this worked out the way I thought. Oh, the fish is on the air. Oh, we're fighting it. All this kind of good stuff. We get it loose. And now, fish on the other side is flapping around. So what we want to do to take this fish off, so I would probably let it fall to the barrel. And then I'm going to come up a little bit closer. We're going to take a close look at this arrow here. Yep, about there. And now I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull the line so the knot is in here. Pull the knot through, if I can. This knot's a little big, but it slips over the back of this arrow. And pull it back out like so. Now, I can reel my line in. Let's go point it down at the box for a second. It comes through the box. Up. Now I'm going to take my line. That's again folded in this, tied in a half hitch right here. Fold it. Pull a figure 8 over the back of the arrow and then pull it back again. Now I'm tied back up. That's so I can pull back and shoot again. One of the other things we'll demonstrate is how to do the knot itself. So let's say this line's getting worn out. One of the things I can do, cut the line, pull that off. I'm going to take this line. Depending on how much you want to use, you can tie it really short. If you tie it long, you can sometimes make things easier. And just folding it in. And this is where you want to try to get that knot small as possible. Again, if you have something to pull on the other side of it, that's fine too. A pair of pliers. I just happened to grab something like that. Now we have that loop. Again, a figure 8 over the back of the arrow. Pull it tight, and again, now you're back up and running again. Take it off, just pull off the back, down through. It's literally that simple.